Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, whatever time it is when you guys are watching this. How's it going? I hope you have a great day today or yesterday or whenever. I don't even, because I feel like a lot of people watch from the United States, but maybe you don't. Maybe you watch and it's like nighttime. Or maybe you're watching this after the fact. You're watching this at the end of your day. Maybe you're watching at the beginning of your day. Regardless, I hope that it's a good one. And yeah, it's going to be, sports are going at full steam ahead right now. So that is what is really exciting. And trust me, we have a lot to talk about today. Before we get going, yes, this is the daily sports show from Marv On Air. We are bringing it back. So that's really exciting. And I got this little thing in front of me. It's bugging me. I just fixed it. But yes, it is almost a holiday season, right? It's like the 19th or something. Yeah, the 19th. Christmas is in like 6 days. As soon as we get done here, I'm going to go do some Christmas shopping. So got to get ready for that. Got to get everything zoned in. You're probably saying you should have done this a long time ago. Story of my life. But either way, the point of that to say is that we're starting this before the holiday season. And then as we move into, like the actual holidays, we'll have to, take a few days off. Probably spend some time with the family, go get some Christmas presents, give some Christmas presents. It's a good time. I'm really excited for that, but I won't be able to do the lives, unfortunately. I'll try to keep you guys updated, have a few videos ready for you, but with the ever-changing world of sports, it's not always exactly possible. I can't batch make content for, like, the Super Bowl, right? Like, we don't even know who's going to be there. Speaking of the Super Bowl, though, the Eagles last night, okay? We got to address the elephant in the room. What happened to the Eagles? So the last 3 games they've lost, and they don't look so hot, okay? Things just aren't going exactly right in Philadelphia. Let's just put it that way. Drew Lock and the Seahawks came through and just absolutely dominated. Well, they didn't actually dominate so much as just they won the game, and it was pretty cool. Drew Lock's post-game speech was really just I wouldn't say like amazing, wouldn't do it justice. You know what I mean? Came out and was just really, really grateful, really thankful to be able to play and win. Obviously, that's really cool. But what I think a lot of people are taking away from this is that the Eagles are a very, very beatable team. And I think that's the story of this year. I've been pretty, I don't want to say anti-Chiefs, but when teams like just that good, like I don't love Alabama when they won like 55 national championships in a row. I don't know how they got in this year. We can talk about that as well. Speaking of like you guys bringing up stuff, I actually have the chat right here. That's not really super normal for me. So, Mr. Filbert, that's right. I'm back. See if you so if you guys want, put stuff in the chat. I'll chat about it. Otherwise, I'll just kind of go on my own here. And so the Eagles. Let's address that. I am not. Okay, well, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm very all over the place. So the teams that are usually like juggernauts, I don't feel like are that far ahead of the competition this year. We saw the 49ers go on that 3-game skid. They didn't look so great. They turned it around, though, and that's why I do think that the Eagles can get things fixed. Pat McAfee said today that they lost some of their great coordinators, and I think that's a really good point. Obviously, last year they had Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon, and I don't know exactly how much they contributed, but it looks like it was a lot. They still have a lot of the player talent, which is great, but someone's calling the plays, right? Like that's very important. So I do think the Eagles can get it fixed, and it's not to say that the Seahawks are bad, right? Like they're pretty solid, and my last few videos I've been kind of dogging on them a little bit, and I probably shouldn't be. They're pretty solid. Let's see. I'm pulling up their record right now. They are in 3rd place in the NFC West at 7-7, tied up with the Rams. Well, in record wise, so technically they're very much in a playoff race situation. I think if they make it, they're probably not going to like dominate in the playoffs or anything, right? They're not going to be like making any runs for the Super Bowl this year, but I do think that they're a valid team, and that's what I said kind of talking about the rest of the Eagles season was that we need to be aware, they could drop a game against the Seahawks, and luckily the Cowboys lost to the Bills for their sake, and for the 49ers, yeah, they really want those teams to lose so they can secure that number 1 seed, but basically, I'm my viewpoint on it is that um, it's a very parity driven league, very parity driven league this year. It feels like a lot of teams are beatable. I feel like the 49ers and the Ravens are the two best teams, and we saw the 49ers skid, and the Ravens, it feels like they can lose to anybody, even though they're one of the best teams. So I don't think we need to hit the panic button on the Eagles, but there are definitely a lot of concerns there. And what did we just finish? Week 15? Yeah, week 15 is over. 16, 17, 18, and we're in the playoffs, baby. So this is it. This is that final stretch. And I think it'd be kind of fun on here to do my little playoff predictor, the ESPN playoff predictor. It'd be kind of fun. Jump through that. We don't have to do that today necessarily, maybe tomorrow. But like this week, Ravens 49ers, that's going to be huge. Both those teams are pushing for that 1 seed. And yes, a lot of those second, third, fourth teams they lost. And all right. Yes, thank you, Snooch. You gave me something to talk about here because it's been a busy day, so I didn't get a lot of prep done. Finals, can't tell you how many times I've been asked this because I went home for the weekend. Finals went good. I passed them, and I passed all my classes, so that's really all that matters. For those of you who don't know, I'm a senior at Iowa State, so I'm really kind of getting into the thick of it here. I had like biomechanics, exercise phys, physics, and some marketing management class for fitness facilities. That one was definitely my least favorite. And we ended up getting through them, passing all my classes. I've only got one more semester of classes, then an internship. And that's why, if you guys are seeing this, that's why I pushed it so hard for like this to grow, so I can do this post-college and get to talk about sports all the time instead of having to go out to corporate America. So, that's not ideal. I don't exactly love that. But yes, Pats fan in Iowa, kind of crazy. And so I'm 20-ish, 22 now. And when I was like 12, was right in the middle of their super long run. So I got a lot of bandwagon comments. Thankfully, that's not really around anymore. It's kind of the double-sided coin of the Patriots losing. What am I going for? Well, so I'm in kinesiology. So technically my my job that it kind of is geared towards is strength conditioning coaching or like a personal trainer. It'd be really cool. The thing is that those jobs just don't pay unless you're in D1. So that's not exactly ideal. And obviously the reason this show started is because I was such a big fan of Pat McAfee, and he's obviously making the big bucks. So there is money in like online sports coverage, which is why I'm trying to do it. I'm just not the best at it yet. But hey, that's what we're practicing for, right? Just need to do a little bit more prep before we go live. So as far as the last week, we can kind of talk about it a little bit. Obviously, the Bills beating the Cowboys was huge. That was really huge, really big for the Bills, but for the Cowboys, you don't ever want to lose that game. And my thing with the Cowboys is they've been really spotty. They haven't looked really. They've looked really consistent, right? They've looked really good, but they haven't held it together for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like they lost the Cardinals early, and then they looked kind of rough against the. Obviously they lost to the Bills, but they have looked like that absolutely unbeatable team. They lost to the 49ers pretty bad. So I wonder about the Cowboys' ability against really good teams. Same thing with the Dolphins. Dolphins beat the Jets 30-0, and do I go for any parlays? Reese, you know what? I am like probably one of the worst gamblers of all time, but I am trying to incorporate some gambling into this channel. So you guys let me know in the chat if you guys want to see some more of that. It's fun. I'm just bad at it. So, I like chasing down the big bucks. I've got a couple division winner parlays. We'll see if they pan out. But like the NFC, the NFC South and the AFC South both look just neck and neck. And then obviously that's like kind of across the league. But overall, those two I say would probably be the closest. Like Jags are kind of trending down. Colts somehow are in it. And if you want my opinion on the NFC South, just go find any of my last like 4 videos. Some guy commented the NFC South is like his favorite division. I'm sorry. I am sorry. That is unfortunate for you. I don't mean to dog on them that much. they they just kind of deserve it. I feel like the Bucks are probably the best team in that division. But I guess we'll see who wins it. Like the Falcons lost to the Panthers. Anything can happen. So as far as parlays go, it's just it's a hit and miss thing for me. So I would consider doing some gambling. I have a couple buddies who are really big into it, and we could definitely work on getting them on. As far as like the show in general, right now it's just me rambling because I don't really have a set thing I want to talk about. The point of this is it's just kind of like guys hanging out. Unfortunately, with Christmas break being what it is, everybody's out of town. Excuse me, and there's just no one else here to chat with. So it's just me right now. But we're gonna try to work in some interviews. I've got a few connections here and there that we'll be able to utilize and get to talk to some really interesting athletes and coaches and stuff, and ask them some cool questions. I've got in my library, I got to talk with some media members for the Cardinals and for the Colts. No, that one fell through. It was the Cardinals and the Patriots, actually. So that was pretty cool. So if you want to check those out, they're there. Thoughts on Baker moving past this season? He's 1 year on a 1 year. I think keeping him doing great almost in spite of his receivers besides Evans and Godwin, of course. So I kind of want to talk fantasy with you guys. I had a really good idea. Well, I shouldn't say I had a really good idea. Those are uncommon. But I had an idea to have you guys like send in your fantasy stuff and we could talk about it. Fantasy is basically over at this point. Thank you, David. Shout out David O'Mara. And Evans was on my fantasy team and absolutely sold me the playoffs. So I'm not exactly happy with Evans right now. But I think Baker is slept on. We saw him play really well for the Rams in that comeback win against the Raiders. And let's see if I can pull up his stats. But like for the Browns, I think that one was, it was a weird situation because of like Odell Beckham Sr. and everything going on there. I just, I think he kind of got the short end of the stick. And so, okay, so he's got, that's just the one game. 2023, he's got 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, tied for 8th on the most touchdowns there, 3,300 yards, 55 QBR. I think, and so for a lot of these teams, what I'll say is that the grass isn't always greener. I was having a little conversation in the comment section this morning about Jordan Love, or so I thought. I had rolled over and responded to the comment from, not Ghost Bread or whatever it is, Ghost of Bread. I know it, but I can't think of it. And so that's kind of one of those where Packers fans have gone from Favre to Rodgers to now Love, and I don't know if Love is the answer. Snooch, you don't remember Beckham Sr. when he like put together a compilation of all the times Odell was like wide open and Baker didn't throw to him, and it was like this big thing, and then Odell left for the Rams, and then it was just kind of like, it felt like the vibes were then off, and like I don't remember if Jarvis was there at that point, but the Browns moved on from Baker, and look where they are now. They're in a cap hell with Deshaun Watson, which isn't even panning out. So as far as Baker on the Buccaneers, I think that's probably their best move, especially considering where the South is at. I don't know where they draft this year. I think they're pretty high because they're technically in a playoff race right now. They're projected 19. Obviously, that'll, if they miss the wild card or if they go into the playoffs and win a game, that'll significantly impact where they end up drafting. But I don't think they're in a position to be able to draft a quarterback, and I think they have to. I think if they can develop him, and move forward with him, not develop him in like the sense of a rookie quarterback into making him significantly better, but like just working the offense around him, right? Like with the Patriots, I was actually just looking back. I had a couple posts about Bailey Zappi, like the first game he played against the Lions when it was 29-0. And what I'm saying is I've been on that train forever. And when he came in and they won against the Steelers, my thought process was, if we can somehow game plan and play to Zappi's strengths, not that the Patriots have a whole lot going for them, but if we can do that, then, Zappi can be a guy, and maybe not, for the Patriots because we're going to have a top 5 for sure. Hopefully number 2 overall pick, where we can take a Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, I think, out of LSU, Bo Nix, like whoever they end up going with. If it's Bill picking, we'll probably pick a D3 D lineman or offensive guard. But I think a lot of it comes down to game plan, which is exactly what we saw with the Eagles, right? Now that they don't have the same coordinators. And so, yeah, Baker, I like Baker. I really do. I wish that, yeah, I guess so, because like what I'm thinking is I'm at Iowa State. And so I remember him being at Oklahoma and making all those gestures to Kansas. And immediately I was, you don't love Oklahoma as a State fan, but you don't love Kansas either. And so I was like, okay, this guy is awesome. He's got the mojo. And I've been rooting for him ever since he got into the league, and I hope he, pulls something out. Imagine a Baker Mayfield Super Bowl, like him holding up the Lombardi. That would be awesome. Speaking of the Lombardi, I have a 3D printed Lombardi from Mr. Hunter Lysenring. Shout out. We might be able to get him on the show consistently if we can start making some money on this thing. Maybe we'll incorporate that into the channel somehow. I have this little trophy. That's supposed to be for the Fantasy Football Championship, which I no longer am eligible for, which stinks. But yeah, so let's take a look. Okay, Snooch, we're having a conversation. I like this. Always felt for Bill and even Mac. It's so easy to look at Tom Brady. Yeah. No, well, and so look, in that same vein, look at Jordan Love. Yeah, he spent like 4 years, I think, behind Rodgers, and then now he's being held to the standard of you need to be playing like Aaron Rodgers, like that level of play. Looking at their first like 4 games they had together, or no, not 4 games. It's like 10 games or 12 games. Their first 12 games each that they started, they're like identical stats. And yes, Love had some time to mature behind Rodgers, so I don't think you can hold him to pure rookie standards. But I mean, at some point, you gotta feel like this is his first year. So I agree with you that. No, Snooch, I appreciate it. I'm just bad at managing this because I usually have people to bounce ideas off of, and I'm not a huge monologuer here. So keep them coming if you have things you want to chat about, because I like talking sports, but I didn't really plan a whole lot out. Gosh, just can't keep my train of thought. But I'm looking at these games. Chiefs. So let's talk Chiefs. The Chiefs beat the Patriots 27-17, and that game. So I don't watch a lot of Patriots games. You can't really blame me. We stink. But that game was not what the score showed. That was for sure a closer game than it should have been. And I said in my the grading video, I graded every team. Are we holding the Chiefs to Patrick Mahomes, All-Star, Travis Kelce, All-Star, Super Bowl champion Chiefs, or are we holding them to a wounded Kadarius Toney likes to throw the game type Chiefs? And I think if you're holding them to the latter, then they played their game. They went out there and they were able to beat the Patriots. But what I said was that if the Ravens lost, they would have been in the 1 seed in the AFC. And I don't think we can't hold a team that's going for the 1 seed in that, like, to that standard. It doesn't work like that. So my alarm is on for the Chiefs for sure. Let's see what their last few games have been, because I know obviously a couple tough losses. Bills obviously in there. They beat the Patriots. Why is this like out of order? Oh, okay. That's when you flip it. They lost to the Packers. Beat the Raiders, lost to the Chiefs. So their last couple have been really, really rocky. And like they lost to the Broncos 2 weeks before that. So they're loss, win, loss, win. So it's the Taylor Swift thing is literally so it's something. Shout out Taylor Swift for being like the most influential artist in the 20th century or 21st century, like whatever people think. But my thing with it is it's football. Like, I don't need to be seeing her every time. And they have dialed it back, but they're trying to like push Taylor Swift to keep the Chiefs relevant because they stink. It's rough. I don't love it. So I think we need to have let's say teams that need to have their their panic button ready. Eagles it needs to be ready. They can definitely get it figured out. But when you make Jalen Hurts stay in the pocket, and that's what Nick Bosa said after the game, was that we found the blueprint for the Chiefs or for the Eagles, and then Cowboys used it, Seahawks used it, and it works really well. If you can keep Jalen Hurts contained, not exactly an unstoppable offense. Same thing with if you can make him pass, if you take away the run, same exact kind of concept. But I don't think Jalen Hurts as a pocket passer is like a Tom Brady, right? Like a couple people, in the comments were like, "Hey, there's a reason he was benched in the national championship game." I'm not saying he's not one of the greatest quarterbacks of this new era. He definitely is in that upper tier of quarterbacks, but he's got his weaknesses, and teams are able to find that and take away the other things that the team is good at, like running, which is really the only other thing you can do, I guess, other than punt. They can definitely fall early. So I don't think I had him. I think I had him losing in the conference championship in my playoff predictions video. Might be a little far, but I do think they're capable of making it there. Let's see what the playoff picture looks like right now, and I'll put it up for you guys because I can. So if nope, that's not what I want to do. Let's go like this, move me over here. Sorry guys, I usually have a producer, but like I said, out of town. And then I want to put this on, nope, not a scene. One of these, little display capture. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to, actually, let's just put it over top. So, yikes. Right now, we've got Dolphins at 2, Chiefs 3, Jags 4, Browns 5, Bengals 6, Colts 7. Now, what you have to keep in mind here is Bengals, Browns going to be playing a lot of division games coming up. And then all of these bubble teams, 8-6, 8-6. Then you got 7-7, 7-7. Raiders, I think we can probably count them out. Oh, where are the Patriots? Oh, right here. Nice. So we've got 6 teams that are out of it as of right now. Not really a surprise for a few of these. But I would say the Titans, I don't think a lot of people expected them to be eliminated this. Well, it's not early either. It's after week 15, so we're pretty late in the season. But still, I think people expected them to potentially win the division. And if you look at the top here, we already have clinched, Ravens, 49ers, Cowboys, Eagles. The seeding of this is not determined, obviously. And Cowboys and Eagles, I think if they both win out, Eagles win that division. They both lost this week, so that's, it's unfortunate for both because if the other one would, if one team wins, the other team loses, they get that step up. They didn't capitalize. But if this was the setup right now, which I know it's not, right? That means we've got Colts, Ravens. Okay, Ravens gonna win that. Bengals, Dolphins. That's and so that's where I was gonna say that these matchups are not as given as you would expect, right? I counted the Bengals out post Burrow injury, and Browning has come out and looked absolutely unbelievable. So things like that can happen too. Gardner Minshew carrying the Colts to the playoffs. Snooch, are you a Patriots fan? We should draft a QB. So yeah, that's a good question, and we'll obviously get more into that as the off season comes, and I need to figure out what the identity of the show is for the off season. But my opinion is, welcome, Purple Ninja. I appreciate you stopping by. How do I want to go about this? I do not believe in Mac at all, personally. And I think Bailey Zappi has a lot of weaknesses. I think that sticking with him could have consequences for sure. But I also think if we sell our soul for a quarterback up top and they fail, that's not it's such a Patriots thing to do. Our quarterback for 20 years was picked 199. So I don't think that we need to get a quarterback that high. And we've seen a lot, do you remember Josh Rosen, Mitch Trubisky? What are they doing now? Josh Rosen's selling insurance, And Mitch Trubisky just the other day, like, what is that kid doing? So, yes, Purple Ninja. I was just kind of chatting about the Bengals there, and Snooch, I'm glad you're a Pats fan. That's awesome. That's not super common on my channel for some reason. I think that so what I want to happen, if we're gonna play this game of whatever I say goes, which is literally impossible because I don't even have a connection to the NFL. I want Bill to lose his GM position. And I'm not calling for his job. This was an ideal situation. He's bad at being a GM. He's so bad that he's letting himself down as a coach. We need to get that figured out. Put someone in there that can handle the GM stuff, and he can work on the players on the field. Like, you know what I mean? Separate them, get that figured out. Then I do think we draft a star, probably wide receiver, or line help, honestly. Either one of those. And I said that quarterbacks can bust right away. Josh Rosen, Mitch Trubisky. Yes, that can happen. And it can happen with every single position. I'm completely aware of that. I just think that if we sell our number one pick for, let's say Caleb Williams, who I am not the highest on, and he ends up, I feel like when you pick a quarterback that high, we've seen it with Mac Jones, you give them too many opportunities. Zach Wilson is a perfect example of that. I don't even know how many, and not that Saul had other options, but how many games did he play when he really should not have been the guy? You know what I mean? So, no, I agree Mac isn't terrible. I agree. But I don't see it. It's not there for me. I just don't agree with that. What is going on? Am I that far ahead? Wow. But yeah, so as far as the Patriots goes, this has been a rough season. It's literally the first time I've ever been rooting for them to lose. I remember being younger and like Googling 100 times because I figured if I Googled the same thing, it would be a different outcome, but obviously it's not. Patriots versus Broncos live. Like, I wanted to watch them, but we didn't have it on the TV, and then it ended up being one of those things where I can't watch it, but I'm keeping up with the ESPN thing, and it's one play at a time, and I'm just like jumping up whenever we make a first down, and I'm just in shambles when we turn it over, kind of thing. So I've always been like really, really adamant about them winning, and then this year it's like we need to lose this game so that way we can keep our top draft pick, and if we end up selling it for a lot of draft picks, fine. But it's just been a really weird season, and I'm hoping that one season of 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins, whatever it is, leads to seasons of at least playoff hope at this point in the season where we're like, oh, maybe we can pull something out. I don't think the chances are high that he gives up the GM position. I think you're exactly right. I do think it is all or nothing. And I do know what you're saying about him not wanting to answer to a GM. That makes complete sense. But I think for the Patriots, it's the best thing that we can do. And if we have to move on from Bill Belichick, I will probably cry. That would be just like my worst nightmare. But there's other great coaches out there. And we've kind of chatted about this before where I just, I don't know who we would go with. Mayo, maybe. Vrabel, I think, is potentially on his way out of Tennessee, and we could bring him in. Do you go with someone who's been through the Bill Belichick system? We've seen other coaches under Belichick's tree fail. McDaniel, perfect example, or McDaniels, I don't remember if it has an S or not, in Las Vegas. Like, that, it was disaster. Patricia, when he went to the Lions, like, I kind of think we might just go for a whole new thing and go for a whole new identity, which would be super, super weird to me. But it's not off the table. It is for sure on the table that Bill ends up leaving, and we have to get ready for a couple years of mediocrity or even worse, and a couple like 14 overall pick, 12 overall pick situations. And I wouldn't love that. I would not love that. So chances, I would say, are low. Honestly, do Pats fans... Do we stay Pats fans? That's a good question. I'm high enough on McDaniels that I think I'd stick it out for a year. I loved what he did with Brady. I loved him as an OC. I just didn't. Um, oh, you're from New England. Hey, shout out. You know how many times I've been asked that on campus? Oh, you're from New England? No, I'm from over by Iowa City. um, that's really cool. I would say I give them a year. I'm not gonna ever. So I'm never gonna bail on the Patriots, and I'm one of those people that I've been very adamant publicly about people switching teams, and it's not. I don't get it. I really don't. I get it if you're. Um, no, I agree with the McDaniels getting another job deal. No. It's not that I'm high on him now. It's just I really liked what he was able to do with Brady. And obviously, it wasn't all him, but that's kind of the face that I associated with it, with the Patriots' success, because I was right around when I was really getting into it. Like obviously, Bill O'Brien was big in that, and no, Joe Judge would have been Mac. But man, losing my train of thought. This is tough. It's not completely. And actually, speaking of completely like this, for Christmas I want to get. There's like a thing where I can take calls through my mixer here. So we'll be able to take calls on the show. I think that'll be really, really fun. And I will definitely implement that. But I have no idea where I was going with that. I would say that the Patriots is a lost cause at this point. It's so sad. So sad. What do you guys think? Should we talk NFC? What do we got here? Rams. I got a lot of flack for dissing on the Rams, and I shouldn't have done that. They were pretty good. Kupp coming back is huge for them, and Puka obviously, and Kyron Williams, who is like my fantasy team. Like, bro, how did we even? I can't. I literally can't. Jared Goff or C.J. Stroud, Kyron, C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Ravens defense, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen. How did we miss the playoffs? Like, literally, how? Do you guys play fantasy? Curious. I took last year off, and I was like, nope, I want to keep playing. But for the Rams, like, yeah, facts. Bengals turned things around really, really quick. No, thanks, Snooch. Yeah, have a good dinner. I appreciate you leaving me on. I'll have another stream we'll do tomorrow, Thursday, and probably Friday. Right around that 4 o'clock. It'll be 5 o'clock for you guys. Does this time work for you guys? I'm trying to. I have to schedule my. Let me know if you're watching, because obviously you guys are the real ones. If this works for you guys, let me know, because I have to plan my classes for next semester, and I want to do it at a time when people watch. So I think 4 o'clock is kind of what I'm going to be end up doing. But thanks for stopping by, Snooch. I really appreciate you guys. It's really been a lot of fun having a community to get to talk with. And yes, Purple Ninja. The things can turn around really quick. The Bengals have been in the conversation the last few years, and if you think back to, like, what were they, 4 wins, and then they ended up turning it around after that year. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, I'll kind of chat about the Rams here. I think, let's see, what do they have for remaining schedule here? The NFL website is so not good. Let's see here, Rams. I think they can sneak in the playoffs, like, very, very realistically. Saints, Giants, very winnable games. And then the 49ers, that'll be a challenge. But if they win both of those, then they're what? 9-8. And I think 9-8 could get them in, maybe at that 7 seed. 5-9 and 4. Oh, wow. That's kind of rough, Purple Ninja. 6 and 7 and 8. Oh, Burrow, Chubb, Andrews. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. That's horrible. Yeah. I'm winning my 4-man league. I'm just doing it to teach my girlfriend how to play. And 4-mans are fun. I didn't know how much depth. It's basically just depth that you get. That's really cool. We've seen past mediocre teams doing real. Yeah, I agree, Reese. That's kind of what I really liked about this season, and what I was kind of saying at the top is that, like, we don't really. I feel like have a team that's like, oh, they're gonna win it, like the Chiefs or like, the 49ers. I feel like are that team, but as much as we have in the past, like, what do we got for division leaders here? Like the Lions, 10-4. I'm all for the Lions getting a bunch of wins. Let's see, Dolphins. I mean, since Brady left, they've kind of come onto the scene, but they're still, surprising, I would say. Colts. The Texans is my favorite one. I love CJ Stroud, everything he's about. Nico, Tank, like, how sick is that name? I feel like it's a lot of fun to get to see these teams, like the parity, right? Like teams that have been winning for a long time. Like, I'm a Patriots fan, so I don't love it, but everyone out there that's not a Patriots fan loves to see the Patriots lose. The Eagles lost last night, and the internet was just like, fuck the Eagles. I love seeing these guys downfall. Like, damn, guys. Oh, my God. Philly's going to burn to the ground if they hear this, which I don't know how much longer that place will be standing. That type of disappointment. They're used to, but Jesus, it's got to be rough. And so obviously people love to see that downfall, but like not the Bears. Bears still stink. Seahawks I like to see do well. I really do. They're a lot of fun. Some metric inside of the NFL changing. Yeah, no, for sure. New quarterbacks. And the quarterback thing has been around, this year it's been very prominent. And maybe I'll make this into a clip or a video or something. But I saw this online. There is a relatively direct correlation between quarterback usage and quarterback injury. Now, this year has been very interesting with quarterback injury, obviously. And we know that the last few years have been absolutely insane as far as quarterback protection. We have the roughing the passer, which has just gotten out of hand. Refs have gotten out of hand in general, but as far as protecting the quarterbacks, it all started with Brady, and now it's completely gotten out of hand. And people are confused as to how could that be possible, right? How can that be possible that we have like 12 or 15 backups? Like we had Drew Lock last night, starting in a given week when we're protecting these guys more than ever. The correlation I saw is not just running. Obviously, you remember Lamar when he left Louisville and got drafted. Everyone's major concern was, can he play like this in the NFL? He's going to get too dinged up. He's going to have a short career, and he's proven them all wrong. Been one of the best running quarterbacks in the league, period. Jalen Hurts has made a case for that as well, but man, he has been just absolutely dynamic. Isn't even a good word. And so it's not the rushing so much. It is also rushing. Like they're running more than ever, but what more than anything, it's their dropbacks. They're passing more than ever. And it's not overuse injury either, which is interesting. Some of them are, it's related, but the more times that the quarterback has the ball, the more opportunity for them to get injured, period. So yes, they're running more and things happen when you run too, but man, it's just directly correlated with dropbacks, which is so crazy to me. And I wish I could find it and link it and give you guys the actual info, because I'm not going to steal it from the guy either. He did a lot of research on it. But basically, teams that are running more have their quarterbacks. Teams that are passing or were passing a lot do not. They're injured now. So, yeah, it's just pretty interesting. And I would like to see more of a return to the run. Some teams have been doing it really, really well. 49ers, I saw they were 32nd in pass attempts. Now, they're like first or second in passing yards on the year, which is pretty high. This means their efficiency is through the roof. But, they're running the ball a lot more and trying to keep Purdy healthy, which is really, really important. The thing I was going to say, which is why I kind of had a stoppage of my brain power there, was the Casey, what's his name? The Steelers safety who got ejected. Dude, brutal hit. I'm not going to lie. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, 49ers run game is literally insane. But I don't think you can suspend him without pay for the rest of the year. And this is why. I think it sounds bad because I'm on Tom Brady's side. I think Tom Brady said it best. This league has gotten like to a point where it's so soft, but also, Jay Rich, I'll get to you in a sec. We are just rewarding bad offensive play. We really are. And it's it's gotten to the point where I remember Kenny Pickett doing the fake slide last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, and everyone was like commending him for this, and it made me honestly pretty pissed off because like how can we reward this? You know, the defenders are already, when you look at the game of football as an actual, just at the biggest scope, the offense knows what they're doing and the defense does not. Okay. They're reacting to this. Okay. So they can't like, obviously you got like your play calls and stuff, but it's all reaction. And that already is hard enough. And then when you make it where if they're a split second early on trying to break up the pass, or if the guy doesn't catch it and then gets hit, now that guy's ejected. It's like, what are they supposed to do? Let him catch it, find out if he has it or not, have a full sit-down interview, 60 minutes style, and then be like, all right, now I'm going to bring you down to the ground. That's what I don't like about that. And so him getting ejected, fine. Brutal hit. That one he probably didn't, like Pittman's diving, doesn't really need to hit him there, but we've seen him, you know, coming across the middle, stretching out to the side, just kind of here, and then whack. Perfectly legal hit. You know, and then, Jesus, don't even get me started on the fines. I can't even imagine what KZ's seeing for fines on top of not getting his game checks. But, like, what are they supposed to do? Genuinely, what are these defensive players supposed to do? I do not understand that. That's what really grinds my gears about that. And I get the whole safety of the game, and I want it to be the safest game of all time so we can keep playing it for years and years and years. I think it's one of the most fun games. I always look back fondly on my years of high school football. Fortunately, Iowa State's walk-on program was like, yeah, you're not going to be on our team. I don't care what the deal is here. So I didn't get experience at the college level, but it's such a like team builder, and you just get really close with, you know, all your teammates, and you learn life lessons and all of this stuff. I would never, ever say that football should not be, I want football to last forever. But in the same vein, absolutely have to let the defense play. Absolutely have to let them at least go out there and play. I cannot stand when people will just dog on these players, and it's like they just have never played before. I don't get it. How can you possibly think he had another option than to hit him there? Because if he catches the ball, he has to be tackled. I don't understand that. Jay Rich, I said I was coming back to you. Bucks are surprising people. Predicted they would get 9 wins before the season, and they still have still a lot of talent on this team. 100% agree. We kind of touched on this earlier. I think the Bucks will win the South. I think they are a very good team. Snooch, I believe it was Snooch, was asking about Baker for the long run. I'd like to ask you, do you think Baker's the answer there? But I think that they're a really good team. You know, White, Dog. That defense is kind of getting a little bit shakier than it was for that Super Bowl run, but still a really, really good team all around. Evans is literally probably one of the most slept-on receivers ever, somehow able to get 1,000 yards just with any quarterback. Absolutely awesome. Cooks is the same way, Brandon Cooks. But, no, yes, Purple Ninja. It felt like a perfect hit, but it is football. Gotta let the boys play. 100% agree. And perfect, I felt like, if you're referring to the Antonio Brown hit, yes, it's going to get chippy out there, and I completely understand that. And like that was kind of what I felt like what led to that hit. It was more emotions than anything. But the difference there is it felt like really malicious. And I'm getting at there's no place in the game for that, but there's definitely less, like that's not okay. But you see guys every week where it's just like the guy didn't catch the ball. I think it was Bills Cowboys. Bills guy goes up, or Cowboys guy goes up, and it goes right between his hands and then gets hit in the back. What is he supposed to do? You can't take his feet out. He's going to land on his head. Can't ask him to jump 25 feet tall and go catch that ball. And I'm not even getting into defensive players having it right to the ball, because obviously everything is leaned offensively now as far as penalties go to try to keep, points scored. And the PI whole, that's just a mess. Everything with the rules is a mess right now, it feels like. I'm not trying to say that, like, Burfict's hit, it should be in the game. I don't. It basically destroyed AB. Like, have you seen the interviews of him before that hit? Normal guy. It's actually insane when you go through everything he's been. Yeah. Burfict's hit so late, so unnecessary. It just felt. But it's those bang bang ones, and then they get ejected, and they get $500 million fines, and then, Yeah. Sup, Tony Less. What's your avatar? Is that a dude in a hoodie or is that like a Yeti? That's awesome. Yes, the equipment is getting significantly better as well. And I don't know if you guys have the I wouldn't say underrated Tony List. The lives are rough, but the videos are good, I feel like. If you guys like them. What was a commercial for Vicis? Vicis. I don't know how you guys say that. Vicis, Vicis, Vice Grip. And they like have, obviously Tua's helmet and Nick Bosa's helmet. Like all these helmets are being specially engineered for each position because some take more like a D end. Most of the impact's gonna be on the front end. Quarterbacks, not so much on the front end. It's more of when they get whipped to the ground and occipital lobe to the turf. That's gonna hurt. And you're gonna take some real damage there too. There's a lot going on that backside of the brain where the stem connects and everything as well. So yes, I agree with you, Reese. Tech is better than ever, and it's I want to see it get just literally as good as possible. I'd be curious what your guys' thoughts on those helmet, the little like waffle kind of looking things are. I don't really know what they are. White gets clowned in the Tampa Bay area. Hasn't really since the Super Bowl run. Will most likely walk in the offseason. Yeah, I think Baker deserves another year for sure. And I feel like White's really pretty good. Maybe I'm just talking in fantasy terms, but he's been really good in fantasy. I wanted to trade for him. Refs did the Broncos dirty this week. Refs do everyone dirty every week, dude. I can't stand the refs. Y'all get me freaking worked up here, dude. I can't do it. What game was that? Packers Chiefs. We were watching it here. I do my best to keep, my biases out of it outside of the Patriots. I'm obviously rooting for the Patriots, but I try not to root against any team. But the Chiefs are like kind of stealing the Patriots dynasty, so there's like a little bit of resentment there. And obviously, with the whole Taylor Swift thing as well, it's just a weird thing. But I'm not trying to hate on any team ever, period, other than maybe the Jets because, they kind of deserve it. But we were watching that game, and it was Patrick Mahomes running out of bounds, still completely in, and he didn't really like completely slow down and got hit in bounds, and they gave him the personal foul call. And Rashad White. Oh, who's D White? I thought maybe the D was a typo. Sorry, Jay. I have some level of football knowledge, but I also have to pack in the kinesiology stuff, so I some things do slip through. Wherever Brett is, he's gonna clown me for thinking that he was Julian Love. I thought it was Jordan Love when I woke up. And so they gave the Chiefs that personal foul call, and it drove me up the wall. I literally almost lost it. And my girlfriend is a big Chiefs fan. Devin White. Okay. Yes. No, Devin White has definitely not lived up to what he was on that run. Jay, are you a big Bucks fan? Because I'll ask you. I can't remember who it was. Do you remember a couple of years ago, opening game? I think they were playing the Cowboys when that guy got his arm like ripped in half. Who was that? It was a cornerback for the Bucks. I could pull it up, but it would take forever, and I can't remember who it was. Just quick little trivia question for you. And as far as the personal foul, kind of jumping all over the place here. Sorry, guys. That one, how can you make that call? Like, he's literally in bounds and he hits him. That's end of story. And then they missed the PI call on, I believe it was Valdez Scantling or Tony. I can't remember which one it was. And to me, that was completely fine. It's like a makeup call, sure, but it is what it is, And I honestly thought watching it live that he had gotten there kind of around the same time. And I'm not saying that the refs, I know it's a very, very hard job, right? Like everything, especially in the NFL. And I don't know how much like you guys have kind of looked into this, but I've looked into like the speed of the NFL is just so like unfathomably faster than anything else. It's wicked. Like for example, Raiders defensive lineman returning that fumble against the Chargers was going 17 miles an hour. I don't even know if I can run 17 miles an hour. It might have been Bunting, Trucker. It might have been. That sounds right. That was brutal. Jeez. I have that saved to my camera roll, and I'm like, when it comes up, I'm like, damn, I don't even know if I want to watch that. Got his arm ripped in half. But yeah, to back to the refs, I know it's hard. I know it's so fast, and a lot of time they're making better calls on when the ball might have been tipped and pushed forward, they let it go as a fumble because then it's a turnover and it's automatically reviewed, as opposed to calling it dead and then it's like, okay, well now who gets the ball? Did they return it? Like all that kind of stuff. Um, Russell Gage, I don't know who that is. Let me look it up. Let's see here. Oh, wide receiver. No, he would have been a D-back. I don't even know this name, though. 4 games due to injury. Lowest yards per reception. Damn, that's too bad. Where'd you guys get him out of? Interesting. But yeah, dude, don't even get me started on the refs. And I don't know what the fix is. Gene Steratore has said that he thinks it's relatively related to all of the upstairs reviews and stuff. He says it could be that the refs are getting a little bit lazy. It's entirely possible, but it's all just so fast. You think with there being so much action, there should be more refs? Okay, this is something that came up in hockey. I can't remember if it was this year or last year, and I don't even remember if it was the NHL or who it was. I just remember it being proposed that instead of, I think they have 3 guys on the ice, they wanted to have like 4 or 5, and the hockey community lost it. They're like, yeah, no way we're going to have that many refs on the ice. It's going to be way too crowded. It'll be horrible. I think in football it's a lot different. And let me say this. I have a few issues with the way that football runs, the way it operates. We know there's chips in the balls. Why are we having a line judge who's 15 yards back on a deep catch, ball, just a moonshot, tackled at round the 2 or around the 14. Line judge comes running up, and they just kind of pick a spot on the sideline, stand there, catch the ball, throw it to the middle. The guy's like just kind of looking down the line. Am I lined up? Like that kind of. It's just so annoying. And then you've got the chains. What the hell are we doing there? That feels archaic. We've got everybody knows the note card. What are we doing in a game that literally it's come down to inches at times? I don't understand how we can have such like literal caveman tactics. So as far as more refs, I think that there would be a lot. Tony, so I'll get to your question in a sec. I think there's a lot of things that would come of having more refs. Better spotters down the field, more eyes on more different players. There's also an element of there's holding on every play. So like, does it affect the player or not? Is a judgment call. There's a lot of judgment calls that are made, which is why I think some other sports, have the edge as far as like me keeping my blood pressure down. But I just, I can't tell you for sure if more refs would be a good thing, but I can't say it would be a bad thing. I can't literally in this second, without having done any research, I can't tell you a reason why more refs would be bad, because I don't think it would crowd the field significantly if you were able to, strategically place them. They don't have to be back judges or anything in the middle of the action getting run over. So I think that, they'll never do that. They're never going to put them on full time. Nothing like that. I don't remember who said it, but the reason we still have the chain gang at all is because controversial calls happen and then people talk about it. And the NFL is literally dominating TV. It's all it's all the reason people even have like channels anymore is to watch the games. And then you have to fucking, sorry, I'm not trying to not curse, but also I'm cognizant. You have to pay $95 to 6 different services. You got to buy Amazon. You got to buy Peacock. You got to buy Sunday Ticket. You got to buy ESPN or whatever to get. I don't even know where the hell you can find the Monday night games. Yeah, Reese, there's a lot of tech already. I don't understand why we're not using it. Like a couple years ago, someone got stopped on the goal line, and then they backed up their decision to call him short by using the chip in the ball and saying he was like 2 inches short of the goal line. What? We know that? He was in a scrum, dude. He was in a huddle. We did not know where the ball was. How do we know where the freaking chip was then? Why are we not using this whole... yeah, I don't even know. I'm still mad Todd Bowles gave Brady his only losing record. Embarrassing. Yeah, facts. That's definitely rough. Todd Bowles not a great head coach, potentially. Top 3 MVP candidates. I feel like this one, I kind of want to get some feedback from you guys. Great question, Tony Liss. I'm gonna give mine first without looking. I'm not gonna cheat. Number one. Ooh. Okay, number one, I'm gonna go CMC. Number two, I'm gonna go. I might go. I want to go Brock Purdy, but I don't think he's 2. And then Hill at 3. And I think there's a very strong case for Herbert. So here's my thing with the MVP. First off, it's a quarterback award, and I don't like that. I don't love how quarterback-centric it is. I don't love how, biased some of that stuff is. And also, it turns into best player, not most valuable player. Chargers, with Justin Herbert, not the best team in the league, no. But without Justin Herbert, really bad. And we've seen that with an injury. Like, yes, injuries, I feel like it makes it a weird thing because then they don't put up the stats and it actually shows. Purdy, CMC, Hill, no more QBs, please. Yeah, facts. It shows just how important they were. And then you're like, well, but they're not producing for their team anymore. So are they the most valuable player this year? There's a lot of questions with something like that. But maybe if someone, takes a game off, they get dominated, they come back and they're winning again. Sorry, I thought I heard someone walk in. That kind of thing, I feel like it plays a big role. Like last year when Jalen Hurts took those 2 games off, and I think they dropped them both. They did not look good. And then Patrick still got it. It's like we need to identify what the hell MVP means. Is it best player? Is it best stats? And like same thing with local trucker. You're right on. 63-21 against the team the last 3-0 is crazy. J. Rich, I think that's a good call. I do. 49er will go to Purdy. OPI go to Hill. OPOY. I think Hill deserves the OPOY no matter what. MVP is a different conversation. Technically, as far as like the actual, what are they called? Like the things that determine the award. Like those are different. So as far as like, I can't think of the word, but like what actually dictates something, like these rules, the college football playoffs, like perfect example. What are we doing? What is it? Is it best record? Is it most deserving? Is it, who played who? Is it the 4 best teams? Like all these things are thrown around and then they just put whoever they want in there. It's that I don't love that. I love this. We got conversation in the comments, dude. I'm literally like an actual YouTuber now. This is crazy. But yeah, I think for MVP it'll end up being Purdy because they're gonna have the best record, and obviously part of it is the Mr. Irrelevant, and he came from Iowa State, which is like a dog crap organization as far as football goes at times. Rookie of the year, I feel like is for sure Stroud. Completely superlatives, yeah, that might be it, Snooch. So yeah, I don't love the superlatives of that kind of stuff. Just like, or the criteria maybe is the word I'm looking for, which if I couldn't think of criteria, yikes. So I think it is criteria. So I just, some of those things, it's frustrating. It is. And that's just a part of it. And it gives me something to talk about. And, yeah, I guess that's hopefully going to be my job. So I'll open the floor to you guys, let you guys ask me a few more questions. I don't want to take up a ton of your guys' time here. Obviously tomorrow I'm hoping to have a better plan, and I really appreciate everyone showing out. Like, honestly, guys, this is the most we've ever had in a stream. This is the most like interaction. I'm absolutely loving this. It's about revenue. 4 best teams, Georgia in. Yeah, so I can touch on that really quick. This is super old news, but like we're kind of having a conversation here, and this is awesome. Everyone was upset about Florida State. And if you're going for 4 best teams, Florida State was not one of the 4 best teams. They just weren't. Georgia getting snuffed is insane to me. How do you win 27 games in a row, lose at a neutral site to the SEC champion in the SEC championship by 3, and then drop to 6th from 1st? How? Literally how? I don't understand that. Does not make sense. Let's see here. Kelsey wins MVP because he created the most media. Yeah, facts. Ninja, that's good. I like that. What position did I play in high school? I was a I played football and wrestling. So if you want to ask about wrestling, that's where I made my money. But in football, I was a wide receiver corner, and I was decent at that. If you guys look up Caden Weegan, he went to my high school. He was in my graduating class. And then Draven Williams, you probably wouldn't be able to find him unless he maybe had some stuff out there for playing basketball. He ended up playing at Wartburg. But like Caden Weegan now plays for Iowa and is an absolute dog. So he was our starting wide receiver. And then Draven Williams is like 6'4", and I'm not going to compete against that. So I didn't get a lot of playing time at wide receiver or DB, but I was a long snapper, and I was actually pretty solid at it. Tried to walk on at Iowa State, sent in my mixtape because after COVID, everything's all weird. And I'm assuming they didn't let me in because I'm too small. But the guy who has the backup position now, I could definitely outsnap him. So it's frustrating. MVP should be for each position and maybe one for defense. Really interesting. That'd be a lot of awards. It really would. More TV time for him. Who would be your MVP at like guard, or tackle? Be interesting. I think, because then the nice thing is too, then that you can grade them against their actual, I agree with you. That's an interesting concept. You can grade quarterbacks against quarterbacks. And then it comes into, well, they played like 4 bottom 20 defenses. And then this guy was able to put up relatively same numbers against 4 top 5 defenses. Like, it's going to get messy no matter what, which is why I kind of have to live and, just move on some level. But, yeah, that could be one way to go about it. And, what's crazy to me is how much the NFL is changing and how all pro. Yeah, that's good. It's true. It's 100% true. So what is all pro? Who votes on that? Because Pro Bowl is like fan vote. Pro Bowl is not that important. Like as far as like determining someone's career, yeah, like it's really cool if they get the Pro Bowl and they get a bonus and all that, but it's not like a huge determinant of how good they are because the fans vote on it. Oh Christ, what was I gonna say? Jeez, you guys, too many good talking points in here. Yeah, guys, I just need to retire. Oh God, yeah, no, I'm excited to see what the season brings. I really am. I'll give you guys one more chance here, and then I'll get out of your hair. I'll be back tomorrow I'm going to go for 4. Should we do 4? 4 Central, so it'd be 5 Eastern. Snoot, she's just trying to get to know me. What hobbies do I have outside of sports? This is pretty much my entire life. Honest to God. So obviously I graduated high school, really wanted to be in sports, didn't know exactly what. And then I wanted to do pre-med for a while, and I worked at a BioLife, a plasma center. And I had like a bunch of PTO that I had to use. And I was like, well, it has to be done in like the next week. So I literally spent like 35 hours of PTO in a week, which means I don't work. And with all that free time, I started the show. And then since then, that has been my personality. Like if you want to talk to me, you got to talk sports or my show. But yeah, I like to lift. I like to do all that kind of stuff too. Just typical guy stuff. Play video games. It's obviously like kind of how I have gotten some attention in the last few weeks. What are you guys' thoughts on the Fortnite in the background? Kid's out of town for the next few days, so if I do another video tomorrow, he won't be in the background of that one. But I feel like the viewing base is very split on the Fortnite. I think Super Bowl is going to be 49ers Dolphins. Okay, who should the Pats take if they have the 1 pick? Oh my gosh, 1 pick. Jay Rich, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, and Tony, I'll get to you in a second. I think it's going to have to be a Marvin Harrison type guy. Doesn't have to be Marvin Harrison, but like a skill position player. And the reason I say that is because if we attempt to get a quarterback early and then Ninja, I love the Fortnite. Good. I'm glad to hear it. If we attempt to get a quarterback early and he's not that good, and then we spend 2 years just forcing it because we spent a high draft pick and we can't cut our losses, bro, can we just put Bailey Zappi in and like trade McAway for like a 7th round pick or something, which is what he's worth, and then, from there, build around Zappi, and if Marvin Harrison doesn't pan out, trade him away. It's not as high of value, but then at least we're not throwing away 2-3 seasons of trying to make this quarterback work because he was so good in college. Like, I don't want that. What the Cardinals did with Rosen and then Murray, like, that's exactly what I think, I think we should do. I'm glad you guys like the Fortnite. That was actually, it's a funny story. I can tell it if you want how that even came about. Okay, so Tony, this Super Bowl going to be Niners Dolphins. I do think the Niners, obviously, pretty high on them right now. Don't see any reason to count them out. As far as the AFC side, a lot more wide open, obviously. It just feels like it's anybody's game. I'm not going to pull it up on the stream because that was like literally the worst stream ever, that 5 minutes where I try to put it up here. But so for in the playoffs right now, which will change, we've got Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, Jags, Browns, Bengals, Colts. Teams just outside, Texans, Bills, and Broncos, I would say. Because the Steelers, if they somehow make the playoffs, they're going to lose by 40. I think if the Bills get in, we need to be very cognizant of them being in there. I don't think the win over the Cowboys was a complete fluke. I think they are a very, very good team. They had some issues early. They're in a hole with their record, but I think they are a very capable, very good team, and we should really be, keeping an eye on that. Other than that, I'm not high on the Chiefs this year. Bengals, I don't think Browning, no hate, but I don't know if, maybe the lights get to them there. Colts, I don't think are Super Bowl caliber. Dolphins are probably the best team. I will give you that. But they also, I don't see the Dolphins. They just, local trucker, you took the words right out of my mouth. They just can't seem to put it together against the best teams. And obviously, you're going to be playing pretty dang good teams in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl. Tony, if you think that's going to be the Super Bowl, who's going to win it? I think the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. And unless an injury comes, which is very on par for the Ravens, I think we're going to be looking at a Ravens-Niners Super Bowl, which, when was that last one? Was it 2013? Because somebody talked about that in my comment section. Let's see here. 20. Yeah. Wow. That would be awesome. This would be a total NFL scripted, which I kind of wonder. Dude, 2013, Baltimore 34, San Francisco 31. Could we get a revenge game? Bills are the second best team, in my opinion. Josh Allen, too good, especially with a run game, is scary. Yes, Bills are very, very good. Josh Allen is the high and the low of that game, of that team. He's got the most turnovers and the most touchdowns. So if he can just keep himself in check and then do what they did and utilize James Cook for once, they looked really good. They used James Cook and, surprise, they did really good. Josh Allen didn't have the opportunity to throw a pick if they're handing it off to the running back. I think if they could, kind of use him that way, allow Josh Allen to make the moves, but also realize you have a lot of other playmakers on your team. I think the Bills are someone we really, really, really should keep an eye on. Can't see the Bengals making it to the Super Bowl. It's seeing pulling off a playoff appearance, maybe a first-round win. I think that's very possible. At the current point that we're in, they'll be playing the Chiefs, right? 7-1, 6-2. Oh, Dolphins first. They would be playing the Dolphins first. At right now, though, we still have another 3 weeks. So I think if maybe tomorrow you guys can let me know, and I'll potentially pick the rest of the games, or maybe should I? Some Reese had asked earlier about the. Thanks, Snooch. I actually worked pretty hard on that. I'd asked about gambling. I want to make this in a way that you guys want to watch it. So what do you guys want to see? But also, the season feels like Niners are getting revenge and crossing teams off their hit list. Very true. It really does. They look like a very good team, and they're making the most of it. Like the Eagles talked a lot of trash, stood on business. Jake Browning could be the next Nick Foles. Yes, very possible. You guys know that graphic, right? The is it Nick Foles, Tom Brady meme? Because is it Cousins? Oh, who is it? I'm trying to find it really quickly, but Super Bowl. No, because they played in the Super Bowl, so this isn't going to give me anything. Conference quarterbacks. Sorry, guys. I know this is just bad television. Who is this? Is it Cousins? No, Case Keenum. Yeah, so it was Blake Bortles, Case Keenum, Nick Foles, and Tom Brady, and he couldn't pull out a Super Bowl win. It's absolutely crazy. Hope Burrow doesn't fall in Wetz's footsteps. Actually, that's a really good point. That's very possible. Unfortunately, I know Burrow's really good, but I think Browning doing so well maybe leads to some questions about his capabilities. He's got a lot of people around him and a lot of very good coaching, clearly. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut it off there, guys, just because I don't want it to, starting to get kind of bad TV here. I'm losing my mustard. What the hell happened to Josh Dobbs? Good question, honestly. Very good question. But he fell off. Yeah, facts. I'm not sure what the hell happened there. As far as the show and the channel, let me know. Obviously I'm watching the chat here. Are we looking for gambling? Because I can do that. I can, make my picks. I actually have, this is crazy. I've kept up with something. I've picked every game against the spread this entire year. I'm 106.94 and 5. Oh, 106.94 and 8 on the year. So maybe I'll pick my picks against the spread on here. Could do that. I've been wanting to do that. I just, I haven't really been getting a lot of attention on the lives. And then obviously I'm going to be doing another video potentially this week. And Ninja, hey, go get those finals, dude. All astronauts return to Earth. Facts. Go get the finals, man. You must, not in university, are you? Probably high school. But hey, go get them. Hey, let's go get this one. Yeah, thank you, Snooch. Thank you. I'm excited to keep doing these lives. Be doing them every day. We're going to do it at 4 Central. I'm going to decide right now. It's 4 Central. Come back tomorrow, guys. We'll have more to talk about. I really like the conversation aspect of this. I like just you guys throwing stuff on me. That's kind of a weird way to put that. And I, chat about it, and I'll come with a little bit more material prep for you guys, and just let me know what you guys think. I really appreciate all the support. I will see you guys tomorrow, and as soon as I can find my end screen here, because this has gotten really messy. There it is. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday evening. Enjoy that dinner. Wake up early. Have a great day tomorrow, and I'll see you at 4. Peace.